This building that you see behind me is the old Hawthorne Police Station and City Hall. And by the end of this year, it will be demolished.
The entire building wasn't the police station, only half of it was. The other half was Hawthorne City Hall. And in fact, you're sitting in the council chambers right now of what used to be the City Hall.
When the council or the City Hall moved over across the street, then that room became the detective bureau for the police department when the police department took over the whole area.
The Hawthorne Police Station was dedicated in 1954 and was made to hold 28 inmates.
This is the kind that, you know, you hear about the slammer. Throw them in the slammer. These doors slam when you close them. It greatly makes you feel insecure once you're inside one of those cells.
Over the years, the deteriorating conditions of the building called for a new one to be built, and this one was closed in 2004. A building which had a reputation of having celebrity guests.
This was called the Hawthorne Hilton because some individuals, rather than serve time in the county jail or do community service, they would come here on the weekends and serve out their terms, you know, in a very relaxed environment.
We stopped by the Hawthorne Hilton, where Darnell Wallace, the former jailer, walked us through the process of checking in.
They came in off the street.
Okay. Through this door?
Through this door. Did our typical, put your hands on the bars, took all their property, did their search, and would either have them sit on the bench back here or would place them in one of the holding cells here. Because this is where they made their phone calls. As we take their stuff and assign them a drawer, their stuff will go inside of here.
How would you keep track of whose number was?
We type it on the booking slip.
But these aren't big enough, so the shoes wouldn't go in here, or would they as well?
We force your stuff in there.
Oh.
The best way we could. I mean, if you had too much stuff, we had big lockers on the outside for bulk property. But we would put as much as we can get in here.
And then just close it, it wouldn't get locked?
Do that, and then padlock it. When I started, there was only 6 of us.
Wow. Monitoring the entire jail.
Yeah, you would have your overlap every now and then, but like I said, it was not uncommon for me to work by myself.
Wow, that's scary.
Yeah, it's interesting. Once they completed their phone calls, through here is where they did their fingerprinting and their breathalyzer if they needed it. And then at that point, we come through here and determine what cell they were going to go to.
It feels like the Green Mile, long hallway.
Oh, yes.
And down the hallway, our first stop was at the interview room.
The first night on my own, I didn't know a guy was in there. I was working graveyard, swing shift just left. I opened the door just to check. And that fast, a guy that was under the influence of PCP had me by the throat. And we were in a fist fight until we got that person restrained and placed in our safety cell.
And they didn't leave a note letting you know somebody was in there?
They forgot.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah. It happens.
But you got it under control?
Oh, definitely. I remember particularly that night, the drunk tank or the sobering cell had 22 people in it. It's not designed to do that. So you've got people crammed in trying to go to the bathroom, people sleep on the floor, and people are asleep on top of each other. And I remember a particular incident when I walked back and I watched a guy trying to urinate in the toilet, and he was literally urinating in somebody's face. So of course that guy got sick, everybody started throwing up. We had to separate people and have trustees come clean things up.
And when inmates could not follow the rules, they were placed in a different area.
The lights are out, however, this is our safety cell.
And back then you said it was padded?
Yeah, you can feel it.
Oh, it still is.
Yeah.
It looks like a wall, but it's padded for the inmate safety.
But this is where people came that are combative, hostile, unable to care for themselves, suicidal. People that pose an imminent threat to other people. We've had many of fights trying to restrain people, getting them in here.
Trying to put up their hands.
Oh, it's out of control.
When you were placed in here, you wouldn't come out, not even for the restroom.
You'd love this. So you got the little drain in the floor. That's the toilet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and what we do from out here That's how we flush the toilet, but right now the water's off.
The next stop down the hallway was the women's quarters.
This was our female section of the jail.
A lot smaller.
A lot smaller. Had a female screaming back here one time, and I come back trying to figure out what she was doing, and just my luck, she's having a baby.
Oh, wow.
So I got on the radio, roll paramedics and roll me a female.
Did you guys know she was pregnant when she got booked?
Oh yeah, we knew.
Oh, okay.
We didn't expect her to go into labor.
Oh my God, that's crazy. When we return, find out what VIP guests stayed at this luxurious hotel. We've taken you to see the process of checking in and the unique waiting areas. As we continue the tour, we turn the corner to show you where it was that special guest stayed.
This was our trustee room. Every now and then you had people that had to actually be in a lockdown jail instead of work for 8 hours. Okay. So they would pay us $75 a day to stay here. So this was our pay to stay. And they got their own bed.
And for trustee, can you explain that to me?
Sure. A trustee is a person that got arrested for a nonviolent crime, DUI, forgery, or something like that. They get sentenced to community service time. So instead of going to the beach, picking up trash, the judge orders them to do their community service time in a jail. So we have them come in 8 hours a day. They clean the station, clean the parking lot, and do different things like that.
So you see, this was the room.
Yeah, so that's
Basically like a hotel room.
Yeah. Hawthorne Hilton.
The Hawthorne?
Here it is, at its best.
But I think Jaja Gabor was here because she slapped a police officer or something, and I think she was a guest of ours a couple days.
Trustees have their own private toilet and sink, except for a shower.
This is our southeast cell, but that was their shower.
So the restroom, they were good, but showering, they still, just like everyone else.
Just like everyone else, because you're still an inmate at the end of the day.
So don't commit a crime. Like celebrities, some also chose to come here on a regular basis.
We used to have a guy that we could never put in the dorm because he's so hostile, he'll pick fights with people. So we always had to put him over here. But the funny thing is, even if there was people here, he'd get into a fight with them because he would tell you, I have seniority, that's my bed.
So he really thought this was his cell?
Yep,
His place?
this was his isolated place.
How often would he come to
All the time. I didn't even talk to him anymore, just take him straight back. I know everything right down to his social security number and driver's license number.
Why is there a phone in here?
All cells had a phone.
Okay.
We had those in the dorm as well, but they're not there anymore. But that's so they can make their collect phone calls.
So then it's not just this one, they would all have.
Right.
Inmates had the chance to make phone calls, but like everything else, there were restrictions.
We used to turn the phones off at night to get you to go to sleep. And then we wouldn't turn the phones on until after the court run in the morning because 2 reasons. We're trying to get you ready for court. You're too busy on the phone talking to people. More important, it became a safety risk for us. Okay, now they're moving me just in case they wanted to plot a way to have someone to break them out en route to court.
While some paid to stay here, others thought it was funny to mess with the officers, causing them to always be on high alert.
You have to be careful in dealing with inmates when this door is closed. When you're opening the door, you always have to pay attention to what's up there because you step in, open this door too fast, which causes things to shake, and you'll end up getting a cup of orange juice, which isn't orange juice, but it's urine or feces that'll fall on top of you as you enter the cell. So those are kind of things that inmates do because they thought it was funny because they don't like the police.
Did something like that ever happen to you?
Oh, heck yeah. Almost. I caught it as I jumped back, but
How upset were you?
I was pissed off.
And then you had to keep going with your day.
Yeah. So we go through strip search everybody, figure things out. That's the danger of custody. You forget a spoon or something like that. All those things can be converted into weapons over a period of time. This is a 12-bed dorm. On a good day, we had 17 people overflowed on the floor. We rarely ever had a moment where we weren't overflowed. But during the LA riots in particular, it got so busy and we got so inundated with inmates. In this particular cell, we had 68 inmates back then, which was completely insane.
It's really hot in here. I can imagine in the summertime.
Oh, it's out of control.
There was no AC in here, so if inmates were stuck in here, they were really sweating. Back in the booking area is where they controlled the phones and the alarm system in case of an emergency.
This was our ability to turn off phones. In the event you got in trouble, you can hit an alarm that'll set off an audible alarm through the building. That was pretty obnoxious.
Just like the rest of the building, even the officer's space had its own unique character.
I miss this locker room too. Lockers are nice.
Why would you miss this locker room from the other one you have now?
The other one's too fancy. The other ones are wood. Sometimes they're not as wide. You used to be able to throw your shoes up top. You can't do that on the other ones, you'll break them down. So you got to shove all that stuff in your locker, whereas in here it was pretty decent.
If these walls could talk, they could tell us so much more. This building filled with history will soon be gone forever, but will live on in the memories of those who came through here.
I love the new jail because of the newer technology, but I really miss the personality of the old police station and this old jail here.
For HCTV,
Kill the lights.
I'm Jennifer Murillo.